driving directions on your phone? Oh no! That's not fun! Navigate hands-free with Apple CarPlay.
For decades, small engine cams has been serving it up hot to many bike enthusiasts in SoCal and beyond. Guys like me and you. How do you do it year after year? Find out on the next Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast, where we feature Tim Iski, Iskenderian. Hey everybody, welcome to Season 7, Episode 4 of Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. This podcast is presented by our friends from Pioneer Car Electronics. And we remind you, don't break up with your car, upgrade it with Pioneer Car Audio. We'd also like to give a shout out to our friends over at Studs Racing. Studs Racing, your one-stop shop for high performance. Guys out of Detroit, big sponsors of the event. Good friends of ours. Hope to see these guys soon at the Joe's Minibike Reunion. For those of you who maybe been living under a rock, we've done our best to make everybody aware of the fact that the 10th annual Joe's Minibike Reunion will take place again at CV Park in La Crescenta, California. I'm pretty excited. We've had some good progress of late. You know, I've been working on a new website, and the website has been a labor of love. For those of you who may have had an experience trying to put together one, you know what I'm talking about. I've been working with my good friends over at SNDS Distribution, my buddy Robert, and we've been putting together the best possible site that we can. It'll be easy to navigate. It will allow you to not only pre-register for Joe's Minibike Reunion, but it'll also give you an opportunity to take it, not only look at the classes that we've developed. I believe we have over 20 classes and awards this year, some new ones as well. But we'll also have a list of some of the rules and guidelines for those of you who may be newbies and need more information about the show than maybe some of the folks that have been there need. So all the information will be up. People have been asking whether they can register for the event. We're almost there. I'm hopeful that the website will be up and taking registrations as early as this first week of May. So thank you for the patience. Thanks for hanging in there. I've been working on the website as well as the event. I was on the phone with the folks from LA Parks and reservations, and you know, I may have mentioned this before, it's all new again. So all the relationships and all the applications and all the info that they had on file, we go through this once again. So that takes a little bit more time. It's not as plug and play as it was in the years past, where we could just renew our agreement and put the event together. So we're still going through almost the same process that we did when we first put the event on. I'm a little bit more patient and a little bit more reserved now, so I don't get too excited about these things. The date is October the 8th. The alternate date is that following Saturday, which would be the 15th. And I'm hopeful that it will be the 8th, and I'm hopeful that I'm going to be seeing all of you here. I also like to give some recognition to our friends at GTS Hobbies. GTS Hobbies and Rafa we'll be providing a big tire rolling frame that's going to be given away to one lucky participant. Who knows, maybe it'll be you. We're also talking to our friends over at Fast Lane Racing, and we're going to craft a nice new Predator engine that will go along with that rolling chassis. We won't install the engine on the rolling frame from GTS. We'll let you do that. Those are just two examples of some of the many, many, many prizes that we give away at the event. We do our best to not only share the love with all of our participants, and those are the folks that pay to bring their bikes, but there's also plenty of free opportunities and gifts that we hand out to spectators. You know, we don't charge spectators to come to the event, and we've never done that. We never will do that. And not only do we love having the spectators there, but as a part of the judging, we open it up to the spectators so that my job is to get with the appropriate judges. They bring me the top 3 bikes in each class, and then we showcase those 3 bikes in front of everybody that's there in attendance. And by the sound of your applause, that's how we find the winner. It's kind of easy. We've had that formula that we've used in different car shows that I've been a part of in the past. I've had some comments. Some folks had mentioned that they didn't think that someone should win twice. But, you know, when you have all these different categories, at some point, there's, I believe, 12 individual class winners. When we put all those class winners up in front of everyone and we come up with ultimately the most popular, that People's Choice Award, I dig that. So, yeah, you're going to get 2 trophies at our show if you're lucky enough to do that. Outside of that, I haven't been doing a lot of riding, although there has been a lot of riding going on, and we're going to be getting into that in a little bit more detail with our first guest, Tim Iski, Iskenderian. Tim is, you know, when I'm out on these rides, I really get to see things that, you know, are much clearer than when you're just, I don't know, looking at social media. Most recently, I had taken a ride to Santa Monica Pier, which by now many of you are pretty clear and aware of. And I got to see how Tim is received in this community, and I get a smile on my face. So why don't we just jump into it and welcome the newest member of Joe's Minibike Reunion Hall of Fame. In fact, he's the only one that's going to be inducted into the class of 2022. He'll be joined by Jake Moe and Rafa Ramirez, who unfortunately, due to COVID, we didn't have the event in 2020. And for 2021, our class of Hall of Famers, it's Bing Flores from Honda Grom Lifestyle, as well as Daryl Smith from Big Daddy Motorsports. We'll be celebrating all 4, now 5 Hall of Famers at Joe's Minibike Reunion, and that's another reason why you should be there. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Tim. How was the drive up here, man?
Little adventure getting here. There was a bunch of detours, and I started to wonder if it was leading me to the right place, but
You made it?
you made it.
What did you roll up in?
My Toyota Sienna.
Okay, cool. So for those of you who are familiar with the SoCal scene, try to get anywhere. Like what time did you leave your place? 3:30?
Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to get out of there at 3, but, you know, it was 3:30 when I left. I figured that'd give me a 30-minute margin. It'd be about 10-minute margin by the time I got here.
It's a task. That's what I'm getting at. And like a guy like Tim, you know, he closed his shop down a little bit early. He made a lot of efforts to get out here. So, Tim, we appreciate that. You know that.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
Good. So, Tim, we were, you and I were chatting when we were out on the last ride. And I was beginning the podcast by saying that I really clearly got to see how much respect and love you get from the minibike guys that come on the ride. And, you know, I'm seeing it now with the Hall of Fame. You know, the way we try to put together the Hall of Fame induction is just to recognize those folks that obviously are really touching our culture and our minibike hobby. And you do that. So how does it make you feel when you're out there and all these guys are just knuckling up and hugging it out and thanking you? And, you know, I watch you. It's almost as if you're holding court there. It's got to be a pretty good feeling knowing
that. I'd be nothing without my customers. You know, I love all those guys. It's great when you know, on these ride outs. I'm 48 now, so I'm not. I don't want to do 100 on a mini bike like some of these jockeys, you know. But I like going out to the races, hanging out with the guys. But I really enjoy those ride outs. it's just great, most of the time anyway,
Sure, but things go right.
when things go right. Yeah, there's been a few little times where it didn't go too well, but most of the time the ride-outs are great.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I think more pointedly, the recent ride up to Neptune Net that got all the attention on KABC and all the newspapers. But you and I took that ride to the pier.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah. I also had spotted you on one of our Friday night rides when we were out getting tacos. And
in fact, I just passed by that taco spot on the way up here. I go, oh, yeah, that's where we ran into Joe. Yeah.
Did you tell him we'll see him on Friday night? I probably will.
Yeah.
Well, there's no denying that, to your point, as we get a little bit older, our view not only on mini bikes, but a lot of things change. Maybe our bikes are capable of going fast. But yeah, I had a pretty stout little bike, and I'm probably still the 20th fastest bike out there. If that, every bike seems to be ready to go there. And I think therein lies just the difference of your take on things. We recognize the fact that young guys, whether they're into wearing helmets or not, whether they're into wearing gloves or shoes, or whether they want to go 90 miles an hour or 40, all that stuff ultimately is decided on in between the ears of every individual rider.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What do you say to some of the guys, especially when they're your customers and they've been hanging out, and then you see them out and about, and they're maybe acting the fool, or maybe they don't have that helmet on? It's kind of awkward to go up to them when it's happening. But do you have a message for those guys that maybe you think is worth saying?
A lot of times I'll see new customers come in and be like, hey, wear a helmet. Oh yeah. I try to tell them. Some of the guys, it's a little intimidating to try to tell them because I don't know, but I try to encourage people to wear a helmet. That's the basic. That's the basic. That's your your CPU of your body right up here, right? You got to protect that brain, and that's at the minimum. You can get scratched up and banged up everywhere else, but your brain, that's it's different, So I try to tell these, especially the young guys, as best I can. And there's always going to be guys that, I've had people tell me, just like you feel more confident with that helmet on, I feel more confident without it. And I'm like, wow. All the pros wear them, though. I try to tell these guys, all the pros, if you watch MotoGP or you watch the NHRA drag racing, the motorcycles that race there, all the pros wear the helmets,
Well, and full leathers.
And full leathers because they know that sooner or later, conditions will be just right and you'll go down. I mean...
it just takes once.
Yeah, I went. So the ride out that we were both on, where we were at the pier, the previous year, last May, there was a first pull ride out, and I went on that ride out, and I avoided about 3 crashes that happened right in front of me that day on the way there. Well, on the way back, I was behind Daryl, Big Daddy. Because we were hanging down there at the down there by Venice,
right?
And we all got something to eat, and we were hanging out. Well, pretty soon the mounted police came on horses and this and that, and it was time to go. Yeah. So it was like I told Daryl, I said, "Look, I'm gonna follow you because I want a guy that's a little older that's not gonna mouth off to the cops. That if anything, if we get pulled over, I want to be with you." So I told him, he goes, "Yeah, no problem." So I'm following him. We're under the LAX tunnel, and I just found out who it was. So I was behind Daryl, and everybody likes to gun it under the tunnel, right? We're making a bunch of noise. Daryl's up there about 100 feet ahead of me or whatever, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I could see somebody pass me up, and turns out a guy had dropped his phone and stopped. There was a collision right there.
Chain reaction.
And one of the bikes went right in front of my front tire. And my front tire hit it, bent my fork. I went flying off the bike. I didn't hit my head, but I had my helmet on. But it was one of those things where, could have been a lot worse. Right? Banged my knee a little bit, got up, got on my bike, and got out of there. But
did you think twice when you got home?
But it goes to show you can be real careful. But like I said, this happened right here. The bike went right in my path and went down. And I'm a real careful rider because but it's still, you can be real careful. But there's lots of things that can happen on these things. So I tell guys they're worse than motorcycles. There's no suspension. Nothing's really built for the speed that we're going. So, have the safety equipment at least.
So when I show up, I'm that nerdy guy. I've got full face helmet. I've got full D&E's jacket. I've got gloves. I strap on my shin guards.
Yeah.
I've got boots.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, particularly when I rolled up, although I didn't have on, let's see, I had sneakers on instead of boots on the last ride. And even that made me feel like I cheated myself because, first thing that typically absorbs the fall is your hands, your elbows, your feet. And it's hot. I see all these guys with no jackets on, half helmet, no gloves, flying up and down. It's like, it'd be nice to take off the jacket, but I don't now. And it took me a long time to just put my priorities together to realize that the fun didn't leap forward to my safety. And this show's not about that as much, but because you and I are a little bit older and we've enjoyed that time where we were able to act the fool and we survived, and now we're here and we could look back in the hopes of maybe affecting one young rider that may think twice as a result of hearing this.
Sure.
You're talking about your customers, and I was talking also about how well received you were. It continues on after 9 to 5. You're still out there talking with the guys. They're still out there on social media, pop-up videos. This isn't like a 9 to 5 for you. This truly has become your life when you think about it. Minibikes, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. My sister-in-law approached me, at work, and she's like, "Hey, you want to have you step up some responsibility, do some more." So it used to be they would come at any time of the day, and so I was like, "Well, all right." So, but I didn't want to give up the mini bike parts. You know what I mean? I still wanted to do that. So, well, maybe I'll still do it for a couple hours a day. And first I did it from like 4 to 6, and then I did it from it used to be like all day whenever they wanted to show up. But I had to condense it down because my responsibilities went up at Isky Cams. So then I tried this and that. Finally, it went to like 5 to 7. And every time I would change my hours, I'd be like, "I'm sorry, guys. There's so much going on. I hope you guys can understand." But they keep coming in, and I'm like, thank God for these guys.
Especially in a day where everybody wants what they want and they want it now.
Yeah, and I have my website where they can order, but a lot of guys want to come in and pick it up themselves.
Sure they do.
And, and I have low days where it's just crickets, like, where's everybody at? And then the next day, everybody floods in.
Sure.
And, but I'm like, these guys are supporting a small business, and even though I'm only open in that little window there, but it's not only... I've learned through the years that business is so much more than just making money. You know what I mean? You get to make money, but you get to meet a lot of people. You get to
help people,
provide a product or a service, and you get out of it, and you get to give something, and it's all the different personalities that come in there, and they start bench racing, and sometimes they get loud. They start arguing.
It's part of the fun, isn't it?
It's part of the fun,
That's why you open up those doors. You think about it.
And it's great. It's great. All the different guys that come in, and it's neat. Yeah, it's really neat.
Who are some of the customers that, and it's tough to name names, but are there a few that you just either look forward to seeing or seem to be popping up a little bit more often than the others?
Sometimes, there's some good memories of, Ronald Icehouse Racing. So he'd come there, and then if Daryl showed up, then they'd get arguing. And
MDB, have you seen him lately?
I've seen him here and there. Yeah, every once in a while I run into him.
And your favorite Long Beach Sprocket now, I see.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Sprocket is there's, like I said, there's so many different personalities. Sprocket's the kind of guy, he'll be on the ride out, and sometimes he'll be off to himself a little bit. But then again, he knows how to do the stunts at just the right times and stuff like that. He's a great guy to know.
We're talking about Long Beach Sprocket, a recent guest on Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. Well, Tim, I I do appreciate the fact that you do a great job serving the community, and it's obvious to everybody. For those of you who are going to be checking out this podcast on YouTube or maybe Joe's Minibike Reunion Facebook page or website, we are giving away a special 224 new Predator engine camshaft. This one's really cool. It's got the JMBR logo, or actually the JMBR podcast, right on the top. It's engraved. These camshafts, there's probably tens of thousands of them out there, and most of them have been purchased by the expert small engine cams, Tim Iski. Tim, I wanted to congratulate you as well, again, on being inducted into the Hall of Fame class of 2022. We're hoping that not only everybody who's listening, but all your friends get to come out and join us on October the 8th to celebrate that.
I never, saw myself being a member of any kind of Hall of Fame, but what an honor. Thank you for considering me. I guess it just goes to show if you just stay at something, and long enough, you never know what's going to happen.
What's the old adage? Just keep showing up, right?
Yeah. So somebody said, in fact, my wife's cousin does medical billing, and his partner Alex says 80% of it is just showing up. And I heard that a few months ago, and I said, "Wow, that's really true. If you just show up, if you just show up, that's most of it right there. Put a little effort, and you just show up every day, and you look back and go, wow, things are going all right."
They're going all right for sure. That's an understatement. Just you're an understated guy as well, folks. You've been listening to Tim Iskenderian, Isky, as he is affectionately known. Check him out at Small Engine Cams. You can find him on Instagram. You can check him out on Facebook. You can Google him. Tim Iski, our guest. Season 7, Episode 4, Joe's Minibike Reunion, presented by Pioneer. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you the next time.
Minibike Show.